Hi, I'm Jenna Milley with itsonthegrid.com and therap.com, and I'm here with Marshall Louis, writer and director of California Solo. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great. Tell us about your film. What's it about?
Well, the film stars Robert Carlyle. He plays a ex-Scottish musician who is sort of hiding out from his past in Southern California, working on an organic farm, working at farmers markets, and a DUI at the beginning of the film sets off a series of immigration problems for him, and he has to fight to stay in the country and face some things that he's been trying to avoid for many, many years.
Very cool. How did you get the idea for this? Were you a Scottish rocker?
I was a Scottish rocker in the past, and I've lost my accent through a lot of training. No, it started with the character. Mm-hmm. It's really a character piece, the film is, and it just started with trying to tell this person's story, and then all the other stuff came out of that. And I wrote it with Robert Carlyle in mind. I didn't know him. I wasn't sure how I was going to get it to him, but just even thinking about him being the lead role in the movie kind of helped me write it in his voice. So it's less autobiographical as it is written for him. Yeah.
Right. Well, where were you when this idea? So you had the character in mind. Can you remember where you were when you just thought of that? You said, I got to write a story about this character.
I don't remember. I had a film that kind of fell apart the way films do. A few
Mm-hmm.
days before prep, and this script kind of rose out of the ashes of that, because I said to myself, I've been working for a long time on that one, and I said to myself, I'm going to write something that if I have, 2 nickels, I'm going to make it. And
right.
So I just wrote the script. I wrote it in 16 days, the first draft, and it hasn't changed that much, actually. And other scripts I've spent years on,
oh my gosh. And
this one just happened to kind of come out. So I don't know where it came from exactly, inspiration-wise, but it was just a sort of cathartic experience. It started with, I think it'd be cool to put Robert Carlyle, a great UK actor, in the middle of an American independent film. There's so many, great UK character actors who people love, and they don't get to see them as the leading role in an American film.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe that 16 days? Is it like you're having people send in pizza and you're in a T-shirt and you're like, don't talk to me, I need to keep writing?
Yeah,
that's
with
amazing.
an MS scroll like Jack Kerouac. No, a lot of coffee shops, a lot of coffee.
Okay, you're just writing nonstop for 16 days.
Yeah,
very cool.
If you write, I wish I say this like it's easy, I never do it. You just write 5 pages a day for 17 days and you have a script.
That's a good note. So are you thinking moving forward you won't write anything if it doesn't come that strongly to you?
I think different, this is, it's a very organic film, and it's sort of a quiet film, and like I said, even the way the film is structured, it just all comes out of this character. And that's not always the way screenplays are. If I'm writing I also write bigger scale scripts, and they require more work. You can't just knock out a National Treasure type action adventure film. You have to plot it and figure it all out. It just doesn't work. So I think different scripts require different approach. But the main thing is to go and put your butt in a chair and write.
You really did it. That's great.
No matter what you're doing.
How do you transition into directing once you've been writing and it's so solitary, and then you have to get with the cast and crew?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, it's a big relief when you get to do it. You've been writing alone in a room, and the hardest part is it's a lot easier to connect creatively when you're alone, and then all of a sudden you have 50, 100 people asking you questions all the time. It's hard to stay true to your instincts, but it's a relief because you're ready for some human interaction by that time. So
would you rather direct than write?
I like directing more. Yeah,
okay.
I do.
What was the most difficult or challenging moment of this film? A moment where you thought, I don't know if I can make it through.
To be honest, we've had a really fortunate progress. A really fortunate shoot and a fortunate journey on this film. Honestly, I can't think of anything.
You wrote the script fast. You directed it perfectly.
It came together fast.
I love it.
I know this is not
your normal. Again?
This is not your normal typical independent film story, but it was born under a good sign so far.
Very cool.
So I didn't have any harrowing moments in the process.
So it screens tomorrow for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? Are you nervous? Are you a little freaked out? Or are you like, I'm good with it, I'm just going to go in and sit down and see how it goes?
I'm a little nervous, of course. I'm curious to see how people react to the film. So far, you know, some people have watched it, advanced screenings, and or just advanced copies, and the feedback has been really great. And for me, you know, the film is about Robert Carlyle's performance in a lot of ways, and people have seemed to really respond to his performance, and he liked the film. And to me, that's, you know, as long as there are people out there who like it, then I'm happy with that, you know. So, but I'm really curious to see what 1,300 people watching it at one time are going to think and how it's going to feel. Yeah.
So it's your first time at Sundance. What have you been doing? Just hanging out?
Yeah, I've been
having whiskey.
Yes, having a little whiskey.
What's your experience?
The lead character is also an alcoholic,
right?
So
Perfect.
It's only appropriate that I'm drinking some whiskey here.
Yeah.
He likes we couldn't get a permission because there's a DUI in the film to use any real alcohol. I think he drank Bushmills in the script, but we had to make up our own. So he drinks Old Glen in the script, and a lot of it.
Wow, what's it like working with him? Did you improv? Did you just kind of let him go sometimes on?
We did some improv. I mean, it stayed pretty close to the script, but there's his love interest is played by this actress named Alexia Rasmussen, she has 2 films here. She's in the comedy in our film, and they had a really great chemistry, which is what you hope for, when you have a little spark. You know, there's a little flirtation, a little spark in the film, and we did a lot of improv with them, and they just had such a great rapport. We threw out the script and let them do that.
Did you know they had that chemistry in the casting, or was
that
a surprise?
Because Carlisle was in Scotland, I was in Los Angeles, and Alexia is based in New York. There was no chance to do any kind of chemistry test or have them meet. You just hope for the best. We had a brunch when they both arrived in LA, and we didn't rehearse. Carlisle he doesn't like to rehearse. I don't really like to rehearse. So yeah.
Were you
Roll
concerned?
the dice.
You just weren't worried, or?
I wasn't concerned. No. Actors I think they manage to hit it off pretty well most of the time.
You seem so relaxed. It's great. As an indie filmmaker, you think you would be pulling out your hair with stress over money and casting. And what is your secret?
It's probably all on the inside. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for young filmmakers out there? Because you just seem to make it so easy. I want to know the secret.
Well, it's not always this easy. You know, like I said, this came out of the ashes of a process that was incredibly hard and then didn't even get made. You know, it was just sort of crushing for myself and the producers, and we worked so hard to make that happen. So I don't know, I guess just keep making films, especially now with technology the way it is. If I was just out of college or just out of film school, I would just be shooting stuff all the time and putting it up online and just building that audience, you know.
Just kind of do it.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, all the rest of it is, Sundance is so amazing because it's where everybody comes to see where films are, and we're honored to be here. But it's about the work, you know, and I feel most calm when I'm writing and, you know, when finishing the film, you know, amidst all the craziness that can come with being here.
What are you working on now? You got anything cooking
well,
over there?
This movie that fell apart is actually, the producers have resurrected it. It's called Exodus, and it's a thriller. And I'm working with actually Michael Royf, who produced Save the Date, who's here with that film, and Fred Berger is another producer. And it's a totally different kind of movie. It's set in the Caribbean, and we'd be shooting in Colombia. It's like a exotic thriller.
Wow. What's the plot? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it essentially begins where most heist movies end, with these 3 friends who have stolen a whole bunch of money and are sipping their pina coladas on the beach, and it's about everything that happens after that. So it's sort of like a Simple Plan mixed with Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Wow, that's really sounds cool.
And as a writer, I'm adapting a book called Born to Run, which is a running book that Peter Sarsgaard is directing, and I'm co-writing the adaptation with him.
What's that like to co-write with him?
It's been fun. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant actor, obviously, and just has so many great ideas and has a lot of passion for the project. He's been running like 60 miles a week ever since he read the book. So I'm a runner too, but he's now put me to shame.
How do you guys get on the phone? Do you work, do you improv? What's it like just to be a co-writer with someone who's got such a busy schedule?
We do some. I wrote the first couple of drafts, and then he actually wrote a draft while I was shooting this film. And then we've been doing some work together in Los Angeles or New York. We'll meet up, and it's been a combination of stuff.
What do you do when you get blocked? Do you ever not know? It's like you're looking at this blank page, you're thinking, what am I going to do next? Do you have any techniques that you use when you feel
But
blocked?
the main thing is turn off the internet. I actually just started using this software that blocks the internet on. It's called Freedom. I just heard about it. And apparently, a lot of writers use it, and that's the biggest problem, because if I start to lose my thread, I'm just going to go see what's happening on New York Times, and then 45 minutes later, you're done checking your email.
It just sucks you in.
Yeah.
So, well, just one more question. What's your favorite scene in California Solo?
My favorite scene.
The best moment that just came out so much better than what you thought it
I
would
really
be?
like, there's a scene where Bo, the character that's played by Alexia, goes to visit Robert Carlyle out in the farm where he works, and they've both sort of had a bad couple of days, and he gets a call from her, and it's sort of a welcome little break from the bad stuff that he's been going through with his immigration troubles, and they have just a nice rapport, and I always really like watching that scene. The other scene that I really like is not to spoiler alert, but he ends up getting detained, and he's been fairly contained through the whole film, and then he gets to go like full Begbie on these lawyers that have screwed him over, and just to watch, I just love watching these scenes where Carlisle, you've been seeing this charming side of him, and all of a sudden we see this explosive side that a lot of people know and remember from Trainspotting and some of his other films, where he kind of goes psycho a little bit, and I like watching that scene. He's just so great in it. So those are probably two of my favorite
Well, I'm
scenes.
sure we're looking forward to that one, because a lot of his fans want to see.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, he gets to show so much range in the movie, and it's just like when the movie was all finished and we had done all the editing, and I was able to just sit back and watch it as much as a fan as possible, which is not much, but as much as I could. I was just able to really just enjoy and be like, wow, he did a really good job, and that's my favorite part about the movie, I think.